So we're looking at Lionel Mora's evolution series, and he basically states that artists have always used machines. Now, in his evolution series, he uses a 3D printer alongside algorithms to shape and form a 3D sphere into his sculptures. Now, going back, you have man using a stone to make art, having the stone be the machine, essentially. And if you go a couple years forward, you have the rise of the Industrial Revolution, the transition between hand processes, going into different manufacturing methods, the introduction of new chemical manufacturing, and that started in Britain from around the 1760s until the 1820s, 1840s, around that time. And basically, around the 17th, 18th centuries, the British government passed a series of Calico Acts. And basically what a Calico Act is, it was a ban of imported textiles into Britain. And so the demand for heavier fabric was resolved by a domestic industry that produced fustian. And that was a cotton weft with a flax wrap, and it was a type of cloth. So during the Industrial Revolution, and going back to the textiles, you had the spinning wheel. So you had the spinning wheel, but you also had the loom. Now, the loom is what I want to talk about for a second. If you break down what a loom is, it's basically a machine and or some kind of apparatus that takes in a design, so the pattern of what you're making. It takes an idea, so the idea and pattern kind of go hand in hand. You also need someone to operate it, and you also need a material, right? So looking at that, and then going back to modern day and comparing it to a 3D printer, it's not all that different. For a 3D printer, you still need someone to operate it. You need some kind of a design plan, so something, whatever you're printing out, and you need the material. And the material in this case is probably like plastic or whatever your 3D printer takes to print out your shape. So looking at that, Lionel Mora went into his evolution series almost blind. He basically started off with the 3D sphere, wrote the algorithms, let them do its work, and then he stopped it when he wanted it to look the way he wanted it to look. Right? So that in on its own, he was actually watching the evolution of that sphere itself, which fits under the category of his evolution series. And those concepts of evolution and or watching something change was a conceptual influence for him.